The following is a transcript between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. Originally produced on November 2nd, 2020, under the constellation of Scorpio, in the mental week examining through the crown chakra, me. Today we begin the month dedicated to the Scorpio constellation. In the prejudice that we have of this sign, we tend to classify Scorpios as dark, sexual people with an overwhelming intensity and in a certain way manipulators and fervent enemies who know how to find the weakness of others and press it where it hurts the most. Or is this so, or just a perception? I am. Everything is a perception. The constellation of Scorpio was previously known as the eagle, who had the power of the heavens to see everything, but because of his pride, he was expelled from the heaven to live under the earth in the pressure of the mud, in the depths of the oceans. His punishment would be to stop flowing in the air, to bury himself under the dirty waters and the pressure of the world. There the eagle became a scorpion, sentenced to live crawling on the ground. Tell me, what is the eagle's greatest gift? Me, the vision, being able to see everything clearly from above. I am, well, his vision, capable of making him see all forms of the world from kilometers away, had to adapt to see in the shadows, in the densest darkness, to see beyond the forms, inside and through them. His new environment only perfected his ability to see, not from the light, but from the shadows, what is usually invisible to others. His punishment actually became his strength. As long as others saw the shapes of the world around him, and the scorpion would have the ability to see through them, through his shadows. The eagle's contemplation ability turned his weakness into his ultimate ability. Do you remember the three great spheres that interact with the universal mind? Me, yes, the conscious, the unconscious, and the subconscious. I am, well, imagine again that the subconscious is the ocean, the unconscious is the cold and warm currents, and the conscious is the being swimming in the sea. Now, the conscious is the one that has a purpose, and the one that looks to the horizon and sets a goal, the one that knows where it's going. It uses the currents in its favor to move through the subconscious, but it does not know what the subconscious is, ocean, because it's too big and it makes you lose focus on the goal. Imagine the swimmer as the eagle that from the skies saw the entire horizon of the sea and did not know what was below. Imagine it diving into the abysses, and yet suddenly he becomes the ocean, no longer seeing a single point miles away, but now simply feeling the miles on every part of his skin. Me, from the subconscious, it stops being a simple point swimming in one direction and becomes the ocean. I am, thus contemplates everything through the shadows, from the depths. For Scorpio, the spirit no longer flies through the heavens, in the crown, on the head, but expands through the abysmal depths of the subconscious, in the feet, the legs, and the genitals, in the densest and darkest part of the being, where he can feel it all. Me. That's why it gives the impression that Scorpios look through you, analyzing your soul and reaching the depths of it. I am. People tend to hide in the shadows everything that causes them insecurity, fear, shame, and pain. All of the traumas, the denied, is hidden in the shadows due to the inability to face it, to look in it through the eyes, and to work on it. The human is a being built in history through fear. The subconscious hides all of the things that we do not want to face, and we leave for another time, but we have inherited and are unaware of. It is the trunk that we do not want to open. In the depths of the soul, information is hidden that would make us lose our personalities, what we've built, because there is no destination there. There is no one to tell where to go. Everything is mixed up there. It's meaningless, and it is easy to get lost. Fear makes humans comfortable, following others, creating leaders, teachers, characters who tell us what to do and how and who protect us. They make us feel a part of it, because being alone would mean having to listen to the voices that lie in the shadows of our being. They produce discomfort, and they show what we do not want to see, and they confuse. They give insecurity. There is the madness, losing the axis, forgetting who one is. That is what we fear to see of ourselves. Me. And facing him is the dark night of the soul. I am. To fall into the very jaws of the shadow among all that we have been denying for centuries. The great problem of the humans is to have that by projecting the good of God in the sun, in the cosmos, in the heavens. They move away from the center of all things in the core of the world. And as we have spoken, the external is experimentation and expansion, where I discover what I am capable of. However, then, I must return to the center, to what I truly am, to the depths of existence where I meet the I am with the truth. And the only way to achieve this is to calm down from the clouds, to put my feet firmly on created reality, to go to the center, to the depths. There, in search of the neutral points of all things, you cross the pressure of the world. You get muddy. You enter the dark caverns of the earth, where you must face the diabolic shadows of the world, the distortion, and go through them until you recognize that they are your projections. And there, you face your own creations, fears, darknesses, the crises of being, the night of the soul. And by going through them too, you find the center. The human considers freedom to feel like flying in the clouds, expanding toward the cosmos where you don't feel pressure. But nevertheless, you are a prisoner of gravity. The false sense of freedom, which expanding makes them slaves to return again and again from worlds with greater force of gravity. But in the center, all of the forces are neutralized. All forces are equal to zero, remember? The greater the pressure, the more crises, the more you live your shadow, the closer you are to neutrality, to the point that originates them, where you can no longer feel pressure. Me. And is it Scorpio who shows us that path? I am. Therein lies the key to this month that we are beginning to face. Are we willing to go deep? Will you not dare to hit rock bottom? Do you have the will to go through the dark night of the soul? Depth comes from the Latin for the ability to go to sleep. Me. I remember that you told me that the spirit is a being or aspect that does not seek to be spiritual, since it is absurd to seek to be what one already is. The spirit seeks to experience what it can do, what it is capable of creating. That is why the spirit mind seeks to be born, to descend into the mud, since the lotus flower only blooms in the mud. Without birth, experience, without the pressure of the world and life, the spirit does not understand, does not learn, does not evolve. I am. In order to flourish, it will be necessary for us to spread deep roots, to get our hands dirty by going to the deep. Today, the crown chakra ceases to shine like a sun and contracts like the core of the world, passing through the crushing heat of magma, until it becomes the iron core of the earth. The light chakra will turn into shadow and deep darkness. Scorpio's ability is to remind us that the alchemy is in the ability to turn poison into medicine. We all have poison inside of us. We are all contaminated by the distorted shadows that we have hidden inside our bodies and souls for a millennia. The paradox is that this very poison, it is key to healing. Denying it makes us live trapped in its toxins. The Scorpio skill is to go deep, to contemplate the poison, to be able to turn him into the medicine that heals the soul. Do recall that in the Indo-European language, the concept of being able is said to be mag, the origin of the word magic. This month will remind us that we are all magicians, that is, that we are all capable, but for this we must know how to use the arts of magic, that is, to see in the dark, to use it, to go through it. Me. Why is this month attributed to desire, saying, I wish? What is the wish? I am. Wish comes from the Latin de and sedere, which simply means to be seated. Sitting, in turn, comes from sedentaire, which gives rise to the word sedentary, that is, living in one place. Desire, then, is the attribute of feeling, the comfort of staying in the same place, of leisure, of pleasure and feeling, the libido of remaining in constant pleasure. The lower chakras tell us about this territoriality. Just as the animals urinate and defecate marking territory, we use the same parts of the body to settle into a piece of land. Sex hormones are impregnated in natural elements, like a fingerprint. Going deep is reaching the center where everything converges, remaining fixed in contemplation. Scorpio speaks, then, of the remaining of the shadows, of feeling and contemplating. Me. Does this imply that we will talk about topics that will make us uncomfortable, right? I am. Yes. If you want to find the axis of being, it is inevitable to first find comfort in what despairs us. Me. That's something very Scorpio, black and dark humor, as they say, related to death, to the uncomfortable, to the taboo subjects, to the spiritualist. In the world of consciousness, this Scorpio energy is usually understood as the medicine that makes us spiritual and meditative, that connects us with magic, the ancestral, the ceremonial. But nevertheless, there is a mistrust of facing the shadows, the demonic, the dark, the shadows of the soul, the most hidden desires of the subconscious. I am, because they still know that the shadows are creators of matter, and that the only way to go to the origin is through shadows. Facing them is submersing yourself in the subconscious that contains all things. Go beyond fear, shadow, prejudice, false spirituality painted in pink colors. It is necessary that this month we filter our souls. It is essential that this month we face the darkest shadows, the madness, the schizophrenia, the most depraved and twisted desires that are hidden in our bodies, and the most painful traumas, grudges, hatred, and tears accumulated. It is time to get muddy, to get dirty, because whoever wants to plant a new tree and to sow a seed of consciousness must dig a well in the ground, dirty their hands with mud, smell and handle the compost, collect the worms, admire the darkness of the terrestrial humus. The blacker the earth, the more fertile it will be for our tree and its fruits. Me, it will be a difficult month. I am, only if you resist. Are you afraid to see the shadows that cover your essence? Me, I have faced them several times. I am not afraid to go to the depths anymore, but my lack of fear has not made me feel superior to the shadows. Rather, I learned to honor and respect them, something I would like to do to help others see. I have almost all of my important planets in my natal chart in House 8, the House of Scorpio. So for me, it's a natural terrain, which has allowed me to have the gift of spirituality, of channeling, of going deep without denying my shadows, but actually enjoying them. I am. Thus, when we manifest the desire of the being, we will be able to convert its concepts of idleness into the ability to find our place, sitting where we belong, me, in the I am. I manifest, therefore, my desires to immerse myself in the depths of the subconscious in order to find the liberation of my soul from the poisons that I myself have created. I am the spirit eagle that launches into the void. I am the scorpion that becomes the void. Me. To stop seeing appearances, to see through forms. I am depth, me, and from it I will find the truth of who I am.